like it was yesterday, just not when you came in. It'll be in the 70s. So,
can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. Things were messed up. My computer did a freaking update overnight, so I woke up to a computer not ready to go.
Oh no, I almost did my update last night, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna wait until after just to make sure. For that very reason, I was afraid of what I'd be dealing with this morning.
It did it all on its own.
Oh shoot.
oh man.
That's okay. All right. Let's get this done.
Adam, I'm almost completely packed.
Wow, you're better than I am. Sure.
Oh,
Completely. I did it all last night.
I didn't pack yet. Was I supposed to?
Well, I just have a lot going on. I have like about 5 minutes of spare time in the next 48 hours before I leave. So it was either do it last night or things weren't going to go great. I have like a million appointments, 3 cars, a basketball game, a nail appointment. I mean, I just have, I have a social committee meeting tonight, and just so much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I had to be smart about it. Thank you, Weaver Details. I do love the new tile. It has made such a huge difference. I'm obsessed with it. I always thought it was just so stupid expensive, but it is worth every penny.
I'm gonna have to call you guys to do that with my
Adam, here's the deal though. I'm different than you guys. I have to pack rollers and lots of different shoes, makeup, all sorts of stuff that you guys don't have to deal with. You gotta be on the ball.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the same problem.
Kyle has a lot of makeup.
I have makeup and hair and actually I hope I can get over this.
I don't even have anybody that's staying in the same house as me that I could make them try on my new hot rollers. Nobody has any hair. I can bring face masks for y'all though.
I've done that. My wife does them.
Yeah.
My daughter loves them.
I do have enough face masks. We could totally do face masks.
I know you're not talking about the same ones, but I've had enough of those.
Sorry, Chris. Trigger word.
Trigger.
Too funny.
Wear one of those I want freedom.
Jamie's here for the party.
Jamie.
All right, you guys are on.
Good morning.
Wow. Another bead maker and coffee. I'm more awake than I was last time. Last time was a little harder. I had a good night's sleep. So
yeah, me too.
After the holidays, it's been nice. Oh, and I'm all comfy cozy in my PNS hoodie.
Yeah.
I love this thing.
I cranked my heat up in my house to like 72, so it'd be warm by the time we did this. Drove and got my coffee. Yay. I did the milking today.
Of course.
All right. How is everyone?
It's in the glare.
Chris, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good hiding here. I'm tired too.
Good.
I had minimal sleep last night, so
oh no.
Yeah, the dogs woke me up, all that kind of stuff. Computer woke me up, everything.
Yeah.
So, but
It's all right.
I'm happy I'm not Justin. Justin's waking up to 8 degrees. It's not that cold here,
Oof. Yeah, that sounds awful.
but it can't be too different where you're at, though.
Well, here's the deal. What I've learned about weather is, quite honestly, when it is 32 degrees, it is absolutely frigid, miserable. If it's like 8 to 10 degrees here, it's honestly fine. You can walk out without a coat, but it all has to do with like the moisture in the air. And so here, when it's 32, like 28 to 34 feels way colder than anything below 20. So I
Huh.
wish it was below 20 here, because then the air gets so dry you can't even feel it. And we've been stuck at right at 32 degrees, and I am frozen. I hate it. Hate it. So I'm ready for Florida, except I looked at the weather and it's kind of mild. It's like 54, 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I will bring my hoodie.
Yeah, we're gonna be
I
layering.
wasn't sure if I was
Yeah.
going to bring one or not.
Yeah, I'm bringing a couple because I just am afraid of being cold.
Yeah.
Yes, Thomas. Wet cold is the worst. It's horrible. Totally.
So, like Sydney said, we're getting ready to go to Florida. For those of you who don't know, this week we'll just start since we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
We're going to be at the Mobile Tech Expo in Orlando, Florida. And the Mobile Tech Expo is a paintless dent removal and detailing convention. And there's a lot of things going on there between detailing, with Education Day with the International Detailers Association, and then watching all the PDR guys do their PDR Olympics, which is pretty cool to watch. And it's just a good place for all of us to get together. I haven't been there in 2 years.
Yeah. That was the
and-
last time we were all together. That was what,
Yeah.
maybe just 2 weeks before the shutdown or something. It was kind of crazy. So if you're going to MTE, let us know in the comments. I know Jessica's going. She already said she's going. But we're really excited, super excited. And then what are you and I doing at MTE?
So we were asked to, and we're excited because you and I have been like working on this for weeks to speak.
Yeah.
And to take part in Education Day. Sydney, me, and Rennie all have a part in Education Day, amongst other leaders in the industry, which is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to kind of share what we're both passionate about. Sydney is, I'm going to talk about RV detailing, but mainly focusing on pricing and services that you can offer, and help steer some people in the right direction on how to charge for RVs.
Yeah.
And a few little tips and tricks. And then Sydney, what are you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking on running an unconventional business in a conventional industry. So mine is kind of geared towards, a lot of it is my story. But the funny thing about my story is none of it has been conventional. I've done everything basically the opposite way of normal, right? So hopefully in telling my story, some detailers out there, new or old, will be able to pick up some nuggets of different ways of thinking, or, things that might speak to them. And so just kind of talking about, how I got started, marketing, how I handle employees or non-employees. So all kinds of things like that. So it should be pretty exciting. And then Chris, Rennie, I know what Rennie's title is, but I'll let you say what Rennie's talking on.
Oh, now
His
you put
is
me on the
called-
spot. I
his
gotta
is-
try and remember.
His is called WTF Are You Doing?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like mistakes that entrepreneurs make.
Yep. So that'll be a great one. That's a good one, just to kind of, especially for anybody new that's starting, just kind of hear from those mistakes that all the rest of us out there have made already. And it's definitely something that I look back, and that's part of mine, was not having any mentorship or support. And so I think especially for new guys, and if this is your first MTE, it's really important to go to this education day. It generally ends up being part of everyone's favorite, just because they do learn so much, and it's such a great opportunity to learn from others in the business that, have maybe been through some things, and you can kind of set yourself up for success a little bit faster than the roads that we took. So we are super, super excited. And then, so that is Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday is show day. So we will be at the PNS booth. And Chris, do you remember what booth number it is?
911.
It's what?
911. Oh.
911. Oh, that's
like
easy
Porsche
to remember.
911.
Yeah, that's easy to remember. So we'll be there. There's gonna be lots of exciting stuff happening in the PNS booth. Most of Team PNS will be there. We've got several guests. We've got some podcasts scheduled. So keep your eye out for our schedule that will be going out. We'll just be kind of all over the place. And then my favorite part that I cannot wait to see is we have the Bead Maker Lounge, which I'm super excited about it. We can give you a little sneak peek just verbally, which it will have white couches and all the good stuff. So the podcast will be happening from the Bead Maker Lounge. So this is something that the team has been envisioning for several years, but we've been on lockdown for several years. So finally this week it's coming to fruition, and we are super excited to see it.
Yeah, that was like our plan for SEMA.
Yeah.
Both times, and everything got changed. But yeah, super excited to be at Mobile Tech.
Yeah.
To see everyone that we haven't seen in years, and meet a lot of you that all we know is by name on here and on social media. So looks like Nick said from Sticklers for Detailers said good morning, and we have some people saying it's their first time. Some people are flying down instead of driving.
Kirby's coming. Yep, that's cool.
Yeah.
Crystal Clean Detailing. How exciting. That's awesome. I cannot wait.
It's different than SEMA.
Yeah.
It's more kind of, it's because it's only two industries within our, in the automotive industry. Yeah. It's a little bit tighter. I've tried to attend the education stuff at SEMA before. Yeah. And SEMA is just so crazy. Right. I never end up going. Yeah. But this, the way they set it up, makes you get there. Right. And
And that's the great part is they do have the dedicated education day where you're not having to pull yourself between the show floor and the education seminars. So that's great. And exactly. Said, it's frustrating because there's so many great programs, and that is true. Very true. I know. I remember the first time I went studying, and circling which ones I was going to go to and stuff like that. So, and then the other thing I want to mention about MTE real quick is, it's, there's a lot of IDA stuff going on. Obviously, they sponsor the education day, but then also on Friday and Saturday, you also have the opportunity to get your CD and SV. So, anytime that there's these big events where you can get those, it's an exciting way to do it. So if you've been thinking about getting, doing the certified detailer test or doing the skills validation, you can do it right there at MTE, which is a great venue to do it. It's a great opportunity. You're going to be doing it with other people. So if you need to look into that, I highly recommend doing that. It's a lot of fun at that event. So
I getting ready for our PowerPoints. I was looking through tons of pictures, and I came across pictures of Keith DePlessis and Bob Phillips giving me and Justin and a few others the first ever SV about 7 years ago.
Yeah,
in Florida.
Cool.
And I was like, wow, we all look different.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was really cool to be a part of the first SV, kind of we were the guinea pigs, and got to help the IDA get that in order. And it's just been great ever since. So let's go ahead and start with our favorite details as question. Start rolling in. I'll let Sydney go first, and then I'll talk about mine.
So it's been kind of a crazy 2 weeks. It was a blur. It went by. Probably, it was funny. I was looking at kind of what I did and what I wanted to talk about. And it actually goes back to 2 weeks ago, Monday. So right after we were done with Bead Maker and Coffee last time, I had a 2011 Cadillac Escalade, pearl white on the outside and kind of that beige interior. So it had never been detailed before. And it was a car that had gone through the family and then became the hand-me-down for one of the teenagers. Imagine that. So it wasn't very clean. We'll just put it that way. It wasn't as much probably as bad as you would assume, given what I just said, but it was pretty bad. And I know we've all seen, that early 2000, light tan interior that Chevy and GM were putting out. And, so it had the really thick leather seats, but they were dirty and the carpets were dirty. And so I'm sure you guys have heard us, but Kyle and I always joke, like we'll talk in the mornings and we'll say, is it an express interior day or an Enviro clean day? So this day ended up to be an Enviro clean day. But every time I use that product, I just, it's funny how it is one that it's such a, in shelf terms, it's kind of a boring product, but when you use it, it's the one that always goes, oh yeah, I love this one, it's just kind of funny how every time I use it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. So it just helped me make quick work out of that Escalade. I used it on a couple heavier spots on the carpet. I needed just a little bit of oomph to break up the stains, and that worked really well. And then obviously on the leather, it does such a great job. It's super safe. And, it just kind of cuts through that heavy grime and dirt when, Express would work, but it would take, probably twice the arm movements. So it worked great for that. And so I made quick work of it. I didn't get stressed out. I didn't get overwhelmed. And so I was just thankful to have EnviroClean that day, even though usually when I hear it's an EnviroClean day, that can kind of stress us out. But so it just, and the car looked amazing. I mean, erased easily, 5 to 7 years off its age. So it turned out perfect and, put some protectant on there and it looked amazing. So very thankful for EnviroClean.
Isn't it? It's like this, this tool that you pull out and it just gets it done every time.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm always blown away by how great it is. And there was something that my guys were doing a couple weeks ago and they used Express and it wasn't coming off. I'm like, just hit it with EnviroClean. They're like, nah, it's not going to come off. And it did right away. It just cuts through the crud in a different way. And, and it was just perfect. So using it on interiors, using it on paint. I like using it around emblems, with a little soft brush or like our little, our red, actually it's our black crevice tool. Works great and it works great on airplanes. I love it. So well, this week, last week, I guess, if you saw my Instagram, I spent an entire week basically doing a trailer and an RV for a customer. And both of them I put inspiration on. And the reason why I did that, and I'll explain a little bit, they're both black and big flat panels. And I knew that inspiration for me and my guys was going to lay down nicely and allow me to blend it in on these massive, some of these sections are 10 feet wide between windows. So inspiration went great on this RV, super glossy, and just made me fall back in love with inspiration again. I've always, and I'll be honest, we talked about this the other day. When inspiration first came out, we didn't love inspiration.
Right.
But since the updates in the early days of that, man, that coating is so nice, so glossy. Owner was super stoked. And then on his big black trailer, the sections between, they say gaps in the panels are about 4 feet wide. And it scared me because I didn't want to leave any smudges or blotchiness.
Right.
But inspiration just went on so nice. So after using about 4.5, maybe 5 50 ml bottles of inspiration.
Oh, that was going to be my next question is how much did you go through?
Yeah, I actually had to stop by Uber Detail and pick up like 4 bottles because I had a full bottle and we used it on one side and the back of the trailer. And I'm like, okay, I got to get more. Then I kind of use that to gauge it. So we used another bottle on the trailer and the other almost 3 bottles on the whole RV.
Oh my gosh.
But we coated everything, the top edges, in the gaps, the awnings,
wow.
Everything got coated except the glass. But I had to use Clarity Cream to polish all the brand new glass. And I'll talk about that at Mobile Tech. Added on services is a big one is polishing glass on RVs.
Yeah.
There's always water spots on RV windows.
Always. Yep. That's so true. That's so true.
So I'm going to add that to my PowerPoint.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Cause I've noticed that too. I mean, obviously I don't do big RVs, but I do a lot of travel trailers, and the glass is always water spotted.
You know, what's funny about this RV is, so this is a Newell. Newells, depending on, the year, if it's brand new, can be almost $2.5 million. And this guy had all the windows replaced except for the windshield because they had problems, and they all came with water spots.
Oh my gosh. And
he said, how is that possible? I said, well, these windows, do you think that they're sitting in a warehouse somewhere? No, they're all sitting outside. Stacked up.
Overspray from whatever. Yeah.
And I said, so there's a reason why, and I've seen this before, brand new RVs, their windows all have water spots because they sit in outdoor storage until they slap them in the RV. Yeah. So happens.
Nuts. Cool. All right. Well, that's exciting. We watched a couple videos and we had a TikTok with the RV and stuff. So super fun. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So should we get into questions, Chris?
Yeah, here you go. Number 1.
All right. So Marty says, I want to use Beadmaker as a topper, but I have a show car and I was wondering how often it can be applied. Can it be over applied? And can I just use a regular detail spray for shows instead? What a great question. So, absolutely, yes, you can use Beadmaker as a topper. If you are just dealing with a show car, you're not going to get the normal life out of Beadmaker, right? It's going to last longer because you're not going to have life wearing that Beadmaker down. So what I suggest is doing a good coat of Beadmaker and then doing a couple times using either paint gloss or Dreammaker. So Dreammaker is our show car topper. So that's the gloss amplifier. And a lot of guys I've seen, they just alternate Beadmaker and Dreammaker. So kind of every other time they wash their car, they'll just alternate it. You definitely can overuse Beadmaker. It will start to build upon itself and it could become not such an enjoyable experience. So you don't necessarily want to over apply it. So, if the car hasn't been out driving around, living any kind of life, being washed, you're going to want to, space out your Beadmaker for sure, because we don't want you to end up having a bad experience. And it's not going to hurt anything. It's just not going to be as powerful. So grab some Dreammaker, grab some paint gloss, and kind of figure out what in that process works for you. But if you're going to a show, what I would do if it was my show car is I would do a good wash, use Beadmaker, and then if you're only cleaning it up at the shows, use paint gloss as kind of a waterless wash detail spray, and then use Dreammaker right before the show starts, just to give it that crazy pop, because paint gloss is not going to give it the crazy pop that Dreammaker does.
I agree. Years ago, Marty, I had am I frozen on here?
Or no, you're good. You're good.
On my screen, I'm frozen. It's kind of weird. Years ago, I had a guy with a black Corvette, and he was one of those that we would polish his car. It'd look beautiful. And then he'd have it waxed like every single week. Every week he had it washed. Well, eventually this Corvette started looking gray and not black, because they were just putting a coat of Carnauba on it every single week, and it looked gross. So yeah, there is over protecting a vehicle and not cleaning it like with a wash or a clay treatment. So on a show car, I agree with Sydney. You don't want to overuse Bead Maker, but Dream Maker is a great in between protection and gloss amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overuse Carnauba though; it looks terrible, and it was such a pain in the butt to get off. It was like a film. So, all right. Good morning, Scott.
Cool. So next one, Tom, EnviroClean, what ratio? So here's where I always default to Keith because I always forget, but Kyle might know. I want to say in my Chemtrol, it's coming out 10-1.
Yeah, I think yours is either 10-1 or 15-1.
Okay.
That's usually kind of where we go.
Yeah.
I have 2 bottles in my van, and one's at 10-1 and one's at 4-1.
Yeah.
And I've never really used it straight.
Yeah.
But the strongest I've ever used it was like 4-1.
Yeah. Yep.
For like really nasty, greasy belly of airplanes.
Yeah. Yeah. So on interiors, I'm probably right at 10-1, I think is what I'm at. And then exterior, I tend to do fine at 10-1. That's what I usually use. But like Kyle said, I do have one small bottle that is 4-1, and I don't use that out that often, only because my EnviroClean is right next to my Tempest. And if I need something really strong, I just go straight to Tempest. But yes, inside 10-1, I wouldn't use it any, stronger than that on interiors. And then the other note for EnviroClean on interiors is I always spray my scrub pad. I don't ever spray the EnviroClean directly on any of the panels. I've never had any issue with that. I just think that when you're using, a stronger chemical like that, there is always the opportunity. I remember back in the day, I had a couple where I would spray the seat and it would, make those drip marks. So, and then I had to really work to get them out. So, I always spray it on the applicator directly. And then the other way that I like to use EnviroClean inside is I have one of those foam pumpers, like the hand soap foamers.
Mm-hmm.
I have EnviroClean in that, and I'll foam it on the brush to use on leather seats, and that works awesome too. Kind of like when we're cleaning wheels, you have a little bit more dwell time that's a little bit safer. So I like to foam it also on the interior.
If you're going to use it in like carpet or floor mats kind of stuff, I would suggest probably going higher dilution, like a 15-1.
Yeah.
Where you can get some light stains out with it. I mean, it's that versatile. Yep. But I agree. Be easy on the interior stuff with it. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty powerful product, but it's also very safe. So that's why we both really love EnviroClean. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. What's next?
Okay, so Mark, I'm washing car dealer lots and dressing tires on multiple cars a day. What tire dressing do you recommend that would be the best choice and most economical for car dealer lots?
I'm going to say Odyssey is just such a great dressing for this application. That's why we have the Chemtrol line is for higher volume shops. So, and that's why Odyssey's in the Chemtrol line. It can be diluted a little bit. It's pretty affordable. And I'd go with Odyssey. That'd be my choice.
Yeah. Odyssey or Shineall. Shineall's back in stock now. So I think, I mean, my first choice is Odyssey. The second one, as far as most economical, and when you're doing, multiple cars, I think the next step would be Shineall. They kind of work similar. I just think Odyssey, I just really love the finish Odyssey gives. Shineall, the only difference I would say is just a little bit easier to clean off the wheel surface. That's the only thing about Odyssey. It doesn't quite wipe off as easy. It's still totally fine. But if we're comparing the two, Shineall is a little bit easier to wipe off the wheels.
And how do you apply Odyssey? Let's help him there, because I use that body brush.
I do too. Yeah. If I'm in a hurry and I'm being lazy, I'll spray it on. But the body brush is by far the best way to go. I use it in an air gun the most, and that's why sometimes I make a mess. But definitely the body brush is 100% the way to go. So fast.
Yeah, I just use the same brush for that dressing all the
and
time.
much cleaner. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Richard Ambrose. Good morning. Amazing.
Good morning,
people.
Richard.
You know, funny thing about Richard, he does great Elmo impressions.
Oh, I have heard him.
I was on the phone with him the other day and with my kids in the car, and he started talking to my kids in Elmo's voice.
That's funny. Richard, are you going to
It was
NTE?
hilarious.
I don't think he is.
I don't think Richard is. He told me he wasn't.
Darn.
But we'll miss him. My favorite Elmo.
Cool. All right, Gabriel. Good morning, Gabriel. He says, good morning, the friendly giant and the queen interior. Nice to see you here. That's funny, the friendly giant. All right, and then we've got Cynthia. This is a good question. Happy Monday, all. How would you share, or will you share how you incorporate APC or degreaser into your exterior cleaning process? So I'll just say one of mine, which is my favorite degreaser, is Tempest. And I usually, before I even start the wheels, so on my exteriors, I always start with wheels first, but my very first step of the exteriors, I go around with Tempest and I spray out all the fender wells. And anything underneath. Right now we have a lot of salt and sand. So anything underneath that I need to, I pre-treat all of that with Tempest. And then I go back with my wheel cleaner. So I get all of the fender wells soaking with degreaser so that when I come through with the pressure washer, they literally just rinse out, which is awesome. So that's one of my favorite ways to use degreaser outside.
So PNS has a all-purpose cleaner. It's green. So we do have an APC. Mm-hmm. I tend to go for EnviroClean all the time just because it's what I got introduced to earlier. Mm-hmm. And when this time of year, we don't have the same kind of salt and stuff that Sydney does in Idaho, but we do get people going up to the mountains. There's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of sap, and it gets all over the bottom, about 2 feet of the rockers of a car. So mm-hmm. what I like to do is go around and pre-treat the bottom of the mm-hmm. vehicle with EnviroClean. And how I do it is I put it on a mist and I start at the bottom and work my way up about halfway, almost to the door handles. Mm-hmm. You don't want to start up top and work your way down. You don't want streaks. And so allow that to dwell. So what I'll do first is power wash it, then do that. Then we'll power wash it again and knock off the debris that has been loosened up by the EnviroClean, and then we'll go ahead and do our foam cannon and our contact wash. Mm-hmm. So EnviroClean for me works great there. Like I mentioned earlier, man, going around the emblems works great with a little crevice brush. Mm-hmm. Also using it to clean out the gas cap area. I mm-hmm. like that. So it's great all around. And then I guess it's not a degreaser or APC per se by name, but Bug Off is a huge part of what I use for exteriors. Everything gets Bug Off. It doesn't matter if the car's brand new or not. We do the front mirrors, window, grill, bumper, headlights.
Yeah, because even if it's not bug season, right? There's still always bug particles.
I hate getting to the final wipe down or touch up and finding a bug on the windshield or on the headlight. And like it's, we can get it off, but we should have had it off earlier. So my procedure is always to clean the front with Bug Off.
Yep. Cool. Luke Neal. So he says, I did a Corvette with aluminum wheels. I used Brake Buster to clean them and they turned foggy and had a bad chemical reaction. Why would that be?
They were aluminum. Well, it depends on, are they aluminum that are powder coated, Luke, or are they bare raw aluminum? And Brake Buster should not have caused that, because I've done this multiple times with bare aluminum, especially on RVs. So it may have been the wheels were hot. Yeah, that usually can cause a problem. It'll flash and be but I don't really see this unless it's like satin black. That's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah. So for me, I don't deal with aluminum wheels too much, but I do know that they've always kind of freaked me out and they've always given me a little bit of pause. So like Kyle said, if they were warm at all, that could be a concern. So what generally I always do is I always make sure to rinse them really well, cool them down with water, have a nice wet surface before I apply any cleaner. And then quite honestly, I've always foamed brake buster onto aluminum wheels. I've not sprayed it direct. Because aluminum can be so porous that, I've never wanted to just put anything straight on it. So I've always used the foamer on aluminum wheels and I've never had any issue with brake buster at all. But the foggy thing really does give me pause that it could have possibly been heat. Because that's definitely a reaction that it would have to any chemical would be to fog if it was hot. So that could definitely be it. And depending on what brakes and all that were on the Corvette, those can hold heat for a really long time. So you want to make sure to really flush them with cool water, get them really cooled down and start with a wet surface.
And if this is a concern, you can always dilute brake buster as far down to 1-to-1, so 50-50.
Yeah.
But this is not something I've ran into with brake buster. This is kind of a problem I see when people use acids on raw aluminum.
Yeah, he mentions it's raw aluminum. I'll just throw in, I do think that there's a certain point where, a raw aluminum wheel, especially one if it hasn't been cared for very well, just about anything will probably mess with it outside of soap and water, so you almost got to be prepared to have to hand polish them.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Yeah, you got to be really careful with aluminum, like really, really careful. Cool.
I'm scrolling up. Hold on.
You're going to have to bust out some Metal Bright, Luke, and give those a light polish to bring back the shine.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so we have a couple questions from David. So what size of RV?
Man, David, you got to come to Mobile Tech.
What did you charge by foot?
This is the whole topic of my thing in Mobile Tech, but the RV I was talking about was 45 feet. That's the longest they make these type of RVs. The trailer was 35 feet long, and in California, I think it's 65 feet is all you can tow legally. So he was well over, like 15 feet over legal.
Holy moly.
But I don't think he cares. So, yeah.
What did he have in the trailer? Like
what?
Toys? What did he have in the trailer?
Oh, man. He had like 2 sand rails, 2 razors, quads, and this massive custom barbecue on wheels. Gosh. Yeah, I'm in the wrong industry, guys.
Living the life.
The guy is way cool. Yeah, it was fun working on his toys in his shop. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and the sand rails were. I love going to the dunes, so they were really impressive sand rails.
That's
awesome. The engine costs more than my razor. I'll just say that. So yes, I do charge by the foot. It's been the way that's worked out for me, but when you charge by the foot, you have to have a formula because of overall what you want to make off the RV. That's the only really reason we use by the foot is it gives a formula to the customer so they understand what you're charging for this or what you're charging for that. But we're going to record our videos or our presentations so we can share them on YouTube. And so we have our GoPros we're bringing us to Mobile Tech, and I'll explain that in my presentation, the difference between charging by the foot, charging by the job, and charging by the day. Because there are some differences, and either one can work for your business and help you so you don't lose your ass, basically, because I've done that before.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to help others not make the same mistakes I did.
Yeah. All right, next question. We've got Scott. I like this question. So what I would like to ask a question about using P&S Detail products on house cleaning. Can we do it? And if so, what may be the best? So I do use quite a few in my house. So most notably, obviously, Bead Maker and Paint Prep or TrueView. Basically just a glass cleaner. So I do use the glass cleaner on all my windows and mirrors. One other one that I use Pearl shampoo as my hand soap. It's actually a really nice hand soap. It, leaves your hands nice and soft and, does the job. So I like using Pearl. I definitely use Bead Maker on all my countertops just to keep them sealed and, nice and smooth, easy to clean. That said, I know a lot of people get worried about chemicals on food surfaces and things like that. I think once it's cured, there's probably very little opportunity for it to seep into your food. But that said, I don't cut or put food on my regular countertops anyway. It's either on a plate or a cutting board. So I'm one of those people that I don't put stuff on my countertops direct. So I've never really worried about that. I wish we had something that would clean toilets. I haven't tried, but that's probably one thing. But I use the carpet system all the time inside my house for stains. That's a big one. How about you, Kyle? Do you have any?
You kind of mentioned most of them. I like TrueView for countertops and stuff. I've used our finisher because it's a peroxide type cleaner to get blood out of carpet when my daughters have had bloody noses. So, or their clothes too. Just hit it with finisher, let it fizz up, and then I throw it in the wash. So I've done that. I've done carpet bomber to clean up other stains in the carpets. I was just sitting in my living room the other day saying, all right, I probably need to bust out the carpet cleaner again. It's been a while. There's a little bit of foot traffic, so I may have to get out my extractor and do a light brush and then clean the carpets. I haven't really got into using Pearl. That's a new one. I like that. I got to try that for my hands. We use it all the time at work, like out in the field, we wash our hands with Pearl.
Yeah. Well, and I could see like if you needed to make like a general purpose, cleaning spray, I don't see why you couldn't use Pearl almost like you would in a rinseless situation. Mix it in a spray bottle, and it's a pretty light dilution. It would be the rinseless wash dilution. And you could totally use that as a countertop and, kind of cleansing spray. I'm sure it would work just fine.
Yeah. I've used my daughters. We have quartz countertops, and my daughters got permanent marker on them, and Paint Prep took it right off because alcohol cleaned it right off.
Yeah.
So many great uses.
And then the other one that I use all the time inside the house is the water spot remover. That's one that we don't get to talk about very often, but we have a really great water spot remover in our Pro Series line. And I actually keep a bottle of that underneath the bathroom sink upstairs. And when I'm getting ready to clean the showers and stuff, I just, spritz all of the fixtures and everything with water spot remover. And then everything scrubs right off. So it's definitely, that has maintained my fixtures, by not letting them get super built up. We have very hard water here in Idaho. So I actually use that one all the time as well.
I could see that.
Works great.
I don't have that problem as much. My dad uses it at his house, at their house, because the sprinklers hit the windows outside.
I've used it outside too. I
don't have that happening at my house. I don't have sprinklers that hit my windows.
So great question, Scott. But yes, I would say, be creative. But for sure the carpet system, I use that all the time inside. Cool. All right. Next one from Brian. I have a customer that wants to keep his tractor and combine clean from dirt. What ceramic coating do you recommend?
I would put multiple layers of inspiration on it. Legend is going to be awesome. Actually, I think Legend would work great for it because it's not like they're big panels. And then top it with Soul. Either way, it's going to work good. I would do inspiration on all the wheels and all of the small stuff, because it's easier to wipe out of like nooks and crannies. Where if you let legend cure, it's going to be a pain in the butt to get it out of the nooks and crannies where nuts and bolts are.
Yeah.
But yeah, farm equipment, that's cool. I've seen that becoming a bigger deal lately.
Yeah, for sure. Well, there's so much money. They want them to stay looking nice and be easy to clean, right? And that's part of my market here, not necessarily tractors, but it would be relative in that, I have a lot of guys that do rock crawling, and they take their, Jeeps and stuff that they're building, but they're having them completely ceramic coated just so that they are easy to clean. They just want to be able to spray them off when they're done at the end of the day, have them look great, have them, maintained, against the sun and stuff like that. So it is definitely becoming a much bigger thing. And my husband used to do harvest in the summer when we lived in Washington. And I mean, he would tell me about those combines and how much they cost. And I mean, it's a lot of money. So yeah, if I was spending $1 million plus on one tractor, I would want to keep it looking nice too. So that's awesome. That's a lot of work though.
I want to throw this out there real quick. Just be real honest and upfront about the expectations about how long it might last, because that tractor is in the sun, it's in the dirt, it's got stuff hitting it, all sorts of stuff. It's probably going to wear that coating off faster than most situations.
That is absolutely true. And there's going to be areas you're not going to be able to reach. So that is absolutely true.
Well, if there's areas you can't reach, you can airbrush inspiration into like, suspension or other places. And even if you don't level it, it's protected if you put a nice fine mist in those areas. So I would say do multiple layers. The fun thing is going to be where they store those in their big barns, big, tractor houses. It is dusty. Yeah. So no matter what, I've been in those, it is just dusty. Even unless it's, unless everything's washed and pulled in on cement, it's just dusty period around there. So you're going to put the coating on, let it cure, and then you're going to have to wipe it up, dust off before you go to the next. Right. So you use more applicators is what I'm trying to say. If dust gets on the applicator, it's okay. You're not rubbing, not sealing dust into the coating, but you're going to need to use more applicators.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Let us know how that goes.
For sure. For sure. And then can we jump real quick to Gabriel had a comment that this is one that I forgot, and I can't believe I forgot this. So he said paint gloss on the TV, radio, etc. helps against the dust. So I totally have paint gloss in my laundry room because I wipe down my washer and dryer, especially the dryer, with paint gloss because, the lint just sticks to everything on the washer and dryer. So I do absolutely once a week, I wipe down my washer and dryer with paint gloss to cut the static charge. So I can't believe I forgot that one. So thank you for reminding me of that.
It's like Sydney's find there. That was your...
Yeah. I just carry paint gloss everywhere with me. I spray everything with paint gloss, I feel like. You know what? Paint gloss on your trim in your house keeps the dust down too. Like if you have white trim.
On your baseboards?
Yes, on your baseboards. It's awesome for that too. So I'll just spray it on a rag and dust my baseboards with it because... Again, it gives you a little bit of protection against the dust. So
we're making a PNS interior home and interior cleaning system now.
Yes. My house here in LA, I've got wood window ledges right on the exterior of the house. And they get dirty, they get rain all over them, all that stuff. So occasionally I go around and I wipe them down with Bead Maker.
Oh yeah.
And that gives them a little coating of protection and makes them easier to clean next time.
For sure. That's awesome.
So
cool. All right.
Put that on everything.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Sorry, I pulled up the wrong one.
That's all right.
Okay, so Tom says, what products do you use to create really shiny tires without sling problems? Well, that's a loaded question.
Okay. Well,
so let's work backwards. The sling problems. We're going to clean the tire with Undressed.
Yes. Got to make sure the tire is completely clean. If you want super glossy tires, you have two options basically. One is not really an option. because Dynamic is not in stock.
Right.
This kind of comes up. I reshared a picture on Instagram, and someone said, "When is Dynamic coming back?" And I said, "We don't know." But Dynamic was super glossy when you use it straight.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not in California and you have a distributor, there is a product that we make that they can sell out of this state. And I may get in trouble for saying it. I believe it's called Hawaiian Shine.
Yeah.
The reason I can't remember it is because I can't use it because it's not VOC compliant to California. We don't sell it here. And that's common with a lot of companies like ours. There's products they can't sell in California. Yeah. That stuff is super glossy. The only problem is you're asking without Sling.
Right.
You're not going to have super gloss without Sling.
No.
With a normal type silicone dressing. When your tire warms up or you go through a puddle, you're going to get Sling. So you're going to have to probably settle for a little lower gloss, go with nice dark black tires and use Odyssey. And you're not going to get Sling that way.
Yeah.
It's the Sling question is always, and here's the difference. What kind of tire is it? Is it a big mutter tire where you have pockets, you know, and that grab dirt and stuff? Or is it like a street tire? Street tires tend not to sling as much. Mm-hmm. Be careful with the shiny. Sometimes the shiny brings dirt. Exactly.
Yeah.
The shinier you go, the thicker it is. That means it's going to attract dirt and dust.
Yeah. Yep. I think one that, you know, maybe you should look into that creates a little bit more of a higher gloss, but isn't what I would consider shiny, would be the Wipe and Shine. If you prep the tire really well with Undressed and then do Wipe and Shine does have a really nice glow to it. And it doesn't sling. So
put it on heavier, let it dry really well.
Put it on a little bit heavier. And then the nice thing about Wipe and Shine is you can even, once you get kind of that level of gloss that you like, you can go back over, and I usually wait a good hour. You can go back over with a microfiber and wipe off some of the extra material and you don't lose the shine. So maybe look into Wipe and Shine. You might like that one. It's a pretty good one. It's a little bit shinier than Odyssey. Odyssey's like a satin shine. You know, it's a dark.
What I love about Odyssey is it makes tires look blacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does for some reason makes them look like deeper, richer tires. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Okay.
Sorry.
So this is a good one.
Here we go. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. Gabriel, is fabric coating strong, good for the fabric in the fender well? You know, I've never tried it for that. I certainly could. The only thing that I can say about the fabric coating, and this is any fabric coating that's out there, it's not just ours, is that they, you know, are built for fabric and carpet and things like that. But anytime there is abrasion, it's going to wear down that coating pretty fast. So putting it on a fender well, just for me, I have carpeted fender wells and I'm just thinking about how many sticks and rocks and everything go up in there. I think that if you used it for that, you're talking, you might get like a month or two of protection. I'm not really sure if it would help. You could certainly try it. But there's a lot that goes on in that fender well that we can't see while it's happening. So I do have a feeling it would break it down pretty fast because that's a lot of abrasion.
Well, the first time you power wash it, you're going to, you know, abrade it as well, scrub it.
Yeah.
If it's brand new, it's it would be a cool experiment to see. But if it already has sand, dirt, debris, and it's already worn, I don't know if the experiment would be too accurate.
Yep.
So go buy a brand new vehicle and let us know how it goes.
Yep.
Christopher.
All right. There's a question.
Hold on.
Oh, yep, we got that one.
I just got a weird ring in my ear.
Okay, so Tom says, what carpet or interior fabric details force you to use an extractor rather than the dry method with the trio of PNS? This is a great question. And actually, we've had so many questions about this exact thing coming up lately. So for me, I do quite a bit of interior work. And so, I definitely go back and forth between the dry method, using steam, and then my extractor. So I do definitely think extractors are great. I think you need them. I probably only use my extractor though, maybe one every 15 to 20 interiors, to be honest. But the thing is when I've needed it, I've needed it. So I had a car just on last Friday that I used the system. When I used the drill brush, I was like, wow, that's not coming out as much as I thought it was going to. Generally speaking, when I'm cleaning carpets, right when I do the drill system, almost the stain disappears. And this one was, it was a 17-year-old car, probably never been cleaned. It had been used for camping and doing river things. It smelled like river fish. And so I had to bust out the extractor, and I had to use the extractor on the entire car, and it was disgusting. And so the system breaks up the stains and stuff. The thing that I always mention about extractors is you do not have to soak the seat or soak the carpet. I know that there's a ton of TikToks out there and stuff where that's like, it's huge right now. People using the extractors and they're just soaking things. And you definitely don't want to do that. That's going to cause more of a problem. So for my extractor, I'm almost using it as a light rinse to pull the stuff that's way down deep. I'm using it to pull that out and pull out all of the, the chemicals that I've just sprayed. Because honestly, when carpets are really bad, I'm spraying them probably twice as much as just general purpose cleaning. So if they're really bad and there's a lot of dirt beneath the surface, I'm busting out my extractor. Otherwise, then I'm mostly just using my steam. So doing the carpet system and then using the steam with a towel to, remove any dirt and debris. And then occasionally I'm lucky enough to only just have to do it dry where I just scrub it and then with a towel dry off the top of the carpet. But I think that if you're doing interior work, you're going to come across all types that you're going to have to decide what's best for that vehicle.
I agree. It's how you use the extractor. Now, this is one thing I like to tell people, and I love our system because you don't put the system in the extractor. You don't put carpet bomber in it. Is a lot of people like to use shampoo. And when you use shampoo, you suck it out with shampoo. So what do you leave behind in the carpet? Shampoo. I like using hot water, in my extractor when I use it. Which same. I rarely use my extractor, but when I need it, it comes in perfect. I mean, it just helps. What's the term? It comes in clutch.
Yes.
So I use it for like when I do fleets, even cleaning rubber carpets, like rubber mats, because it helps get all the mud out. I like to soak through or rinse through our carpet system to remove it. But steam for me is my main source, dry steam, using the diaper wrap towel method. But sometimes you need to go deeper, and that's when a carpet extractor can come in. Just don't soak it. I watch a lot of TikToks with guys who just hold the trigger down, and they hold the trigger as they go back and forth.
So bad.
You're only wanting to clean just the carpet fibers. What you're doing is putting moisture all the way down. So don't over soak it.
And the problem when you soak it, right, is it then goes into the foam part of the seat, and then the material part becomes like a towel, and it soaks up all that extra moisture in the foam to the surface of the seat, and then it just restains the seat. So that's why we don't want to over soak it. And the customers don't love that. They don't love sitting. No, it's not good.
Well, because then and the other thing is, it takes a day or two to actually get it dry, especially this time of year when it's colder out. In the summer, it's a little different, but just think. And to help prevent wicking, that's why we have Finisher. Finisher is going to help lock that in and stop it. But if you put 20 gallons of water into the car, you're going to have wicking no matter what.
Yeah.
So very little water.
So yes, you do always want to neutralize, and I do the neutralizer after the extractor or steam or whatever. So definitely you want to neutralize, not only to neutralize the surfactants so that they're not cleaning the bottom of the shoes and stuff every time somebody steps on the carpet, but also it does help those fibers dry faster. It helps bring a little brightness to the carpet and seats. So yes, always never skip the neutralizer for sure, which is the Finisher. Yeah.
All right. So after this question, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on at P&S and then wrap it up.
Yep. We're going to have to wrap it up because Kyle needs to get out today. So next question. This is a good one. Christopher says, I cleaned Bridgestone tires on Saturday and I used Undressed and Brake Buster, but they were still dirty brown and it didn't come off. I tried wiping and brushing and nothing budged. I think you guys mentioned something about tires being this color nowadays.
Sometimes when tires are neglected a long time, that browning doesn't want to go away. And it partly is because they're like sunburned or they're dried. If Undressed isn't getting that off, the only other suggestion I could give you is take an old towel and take a little bit of acetone and give it a wipe on just a little test spot. If that doesn't take it off, you got brown tires.
The other thing too, I think one way that I've always used to determine this is if you're spraying the Brake Buster and the Undressed on there and it's not, if the actual product is not turning brown, that's kind of your clue. Like if it's staying pretty clean and it's acting like that tire's clean, that's as good as that tire's going to get. If you're still getting a lot of browning coming off in the Brake Buster and the Undressed, then you just need to keep cleaning. But if it's not really reacting that way, then that's just the color of the tire.
And so what you can do is your brush, you can go to a stiffer brush. If you're really careful around the rims, I've seen people use more of a brass type brush, really aggressive, and do a little test spot, see if that kind of breaks through the top layer of the rubber there. The other thing is you may need to dress it and see if that's what it needs. Maybe they need to be conditioned. Maybe you've cleaned it so well that now it needs moisture. So I would try that also.
Don't forget about the brush on a polisher trick too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was our top video. Keith put a brush
stiff
on a flex.
Brush on a drill. Yeah. Or a polisher.
Yeah, or a brush. Something's up there. I know what you're talking about. Because RVs do this all the time, but usually power washing, really heavy pressure and Undressed is usually the key for me.
Yep. Cool. All right. He said real quick, there was no browning. It also did dress really nice. Yeah. So that's just the color of, if you're not getting any browning feedback, there's nothing more to take off. So you're good. It's just that
sometimes I've had to go on the tire and look at the year the tire was made and tell the customer, hey, look, your tires are like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Your tires are sucking up all the dressings I've tried.
Yeah.
You probably need to replace them. They're looking weather cracked. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about what's happening at P&S.
Yeah.
And because we have some trainings coming up and we get a lot of questions about that on social media.
Yeah. Yep. So of course, like we said at the beginning, Team P&S will be in Orlando this week. And then we have in Hayward, February 8th and 9th, we have our one-day training with Prentice. And then we also have the ceramic coating class on that Wednesday. And then I know we have a couple, and I'm going to let Chris talk about this. We have a couple open garages in Florida. If you are in the Florida area or hanging around, you may want to check those out. I know Rennie's visiting a couple shops right after MTE. And so we have a lot coming up the next couple weeks, but we will be checking in with you guys before then. But Chris, how about what's the schedule for the open garages?
Okay, well, I got a little bit of info on both for you. So open garages are let's see, in Miami at Miami Lux, detailing supplies is that's going to be on Monday, the 31st at 4:30, from 4:30 to 7:30. That's at William Lara's distribution business. And then on Tuesday, same time frame, 4:30 to 7:30, up in Jacksonville, Florida, at Firehouse Detail Supply. Same thing. So Rennie will be at both events. I'll be with them, but
Awesome.
we all know you go to see Rennie, and so come on out for those. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
And then regarding training, we actually have multiples of classes going on in February. We still do have some spots open for a detailing class in Hayward on February 10th. So if anybody's interested in that, we need to fill those up. We created some makeup classes because we had some delays in January due to some COVID issues like everybody else had.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So we got to fill that up, and we got to get the word out, and I'll work on that with you guys this week too.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, that is it for today, you guys. If we missed any of your questions, we'll put them on our list for next time. Thank you so much for everybody that came this morning, and we will have, I'm sure, all kinds of fun stories and stuff to tell you about MT when we get back. And for any of those of you that are going, make sure you come by and check out the Bead Maker Lounge and say hey, introduce yourselves, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks if we don't see you at MTE.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there. I think we may be doing a bead maker and coffee from MTE.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We're trying to plan a special episode from there. So stay tuned for all of that. Make sure you're following all PNS social media, and you'll know where we are.
Cool. All right. Have a great day, everybody.